Hey YouTubers, I'm back with another Contax video. This is because someone wrote me and asked me if I could do one that demonstrates the focusing and shutter noises that the Contaxes make. So let's start with the G1, and I got it on manual exposure here. I'm going to set it to a 2,000th of a second and fire it. Notice every time I take my finger off the shutter, the camera goes back to infinity focus. So that's one of the things people complain about the most. I don't know if they know that's what they're complaining about, but that is one of the annoyances of this camera, is it always resets to infinity. So there's focus, snap, wind, focus, back to infinity. So that, if you're doing a lot of focusing in quick succession, can be a little annoying. And let's see if I can have this guy on continuous mode. I do now. Here it is on continuous. So that's the general shutter speed of a G1. Now, one technique you'll want to use is to hold focus as long as what you're trying to shoot stays at the same distance. That would be like this. I'm doing that by holding down the shutter button halfway, and they improved this on the G2, which I'll show now. Alright, G2. Let's get the G2 on its highest shutter speed and focus and shoot. The interesting thing about the G2 is it has a lower pitched focusing sound, which is kind of a little less annoying. Okay, but the thing they added on the G2, as I think I've shown before, is this focus hold button on the back. So I'm not touching the shutter button. The camera actually focuses really fast. So now the technique with a G2 is to hold this button down and then use the shutter however you want to shoot shots, as long as your point of focus stays relatively the same, or you've got a really small aperture and therefore deep depth of field. But that's the big improvement they made on the G2. And that's why people will pay a lot more money for it. Honestly, if you can teach yourself to use the half press on the G1, this camera will work just as well for you. It just doesn't have as fast a wind as the G2 does. Okay, so now for fun, I'll pull out my RX here. This is also a Contax, and get it on its fastest shutter speed. It doesn't autofocus, so I'm not even going to take the lens cap off. So, which is louder? Just turned it off instead of on. There's no focus sound, but the motor's a little louder on this guy. And the shutter's a little louder, but this is an SLR. I can remember how to get the lens off. This is what makes an RX rock. Anyway, there you have it. Those of you that wanted to hear a more detail on the shutter sound, now you know. Hopefully it'll help you make a decision. Thanks for watching. Tune in for more fun later.